Because I just want to say to the people who want to say that negative Nancy or whatever they want to call me, please go to your economic bulletin. Please go to your CSO. Don't take my word for it, and don't take the government's word for it. That's what I'm trying to tell you, okay? So, for instance, with the repo rate, your repo rate has stayed at 3.9. What does the repo rate mean? That gives an indication what the bank should lend at. And it usually gives you a sense of whether there's too much money in the system. They tend to bring down the repo rate in order to encourage spending and encourage liquidity for the economy to grow. But Trinidad has been stuck at a repo rate of 3.50 when it was at 5% just in 2019. And this is going on, and this is going on in the face of what's happening in America with the Fed, where they're having their own little struggles, but we're not going to go into their struggles in detail right now. But the point is, they are going with the struggle. Is there too much money going into the system? But they still have a thing of 5.5%. So what people are concerned about is that there is going to be more and more money being spent out of these capital flight, as they call it, because our repo rate has not improved. And the central bank is yet to give a good explanation if they're saying there's a liquidity and reserve requirement and the bank has reduced and all that good stuff. Why is your repo rate still low? It's so low because the consumer confidence is not there and people simply do not have the money to spend. End of repo rate. HSF, Heritage Stabilization Fund. Well, I said it already, I'm going to say it again. They made an amendment to Heritage Stabilization Fund, which I have no problem with in this sense of including contagious diseases as a cause for going to the fund. Of course, they did not separate the heritage from the stabilization, which they promised to do ever so long, including the government of which I was a part. But the part I wanted to say is, they did 8 withdrawals in 2020 to 2020, 8 withdrawals. And of one of them, it went into the consolidated fund. And your Minister of Finance, in his mid-year review, said, you notice I did not go into the HSF? No, he didn't have to, because he took the money out of the HSF and put it in a consolidated fund. So is that being, are you being straightforward with the country? And then again, the loss to the HSF, all the time he was boasting, when he was taking out money, he was saying, look, no, even though in a matter of weeks, months, we recover. We lost nearly $1 billion. It's in the report, not me, Karen, saying, it's 913 million US. That's nearly $1 billion that we have lost in the HSF. He said we're recovering. But what happened in 2022? This is the first time in the history of the HSF that we have lost money in the HSF. Why don't you talk about that for a change? And why don't you talk about perhaps the investments that were being made were not the best investments? So that's the HSF. Then we talked about the repo rate growth. One of the things that bothers me is that we talk and we use this always, economy and what we met in 2015. Oh God, 16, 17, 18, 19, that's nearly a whole term, You couldn't get it right? Because I just gave you figures that showed you how bad the economy was. But let us get to this point. The point is, these countries that are dependent on tourism, which is why I say we need to do the diversification, because I used some of the data, and just to get straight to the point. For example, when we looked at 2020, I'm going to use that as the benchmark, Eastern Caribbean countries, they had a negative 13.7 fiscal deficit because of what they were going through in 2020 with COVID. We also had, I think Bahamas was the most hard hit with negative 23.8, which is probably why they had the conference in Bahamas, right? Trinidad wasn't too bad, was badly off as many other countries, negative 11.7. But this is my point. In 2022, those countries that had negative, you hear any negative? 7.7, 11, 23.7 for Bahamas. By 2022, you're seeing Bahamas recovering at 9.4. You're seeing Jamaica, I don't know if at 4.4. You're seeing Barbados recovering, I don't want to get the wrong figures, I think at 9.4. But the point is, all of these countries have made significant recoveries from a terrible, terrible negative deficit position, which we all experienced in 2020. What's Trinidad's problem? What is Trinidad's problem? And when we're talking, the final point I want to make before I seem like I am the foreign exchange reserves. My goodness gracious me. Well, IMF says we have 6 point something. I think the central bank says 7 months import cover. But what we do know is our import cover has gone down tremendously since 2014. You can't get more than $200 from a bank. But every morning they're opening up one of those foreign franchises. Where is our money going, and why are they able to open up franchise upon franchise upon franchise upon franchise? Why are they not investing in this country? Why are they not investing in growing food in Guyana or in the Caribbean islands and developing an agro industry? Why are we not developing that? Spending $5 billion on food, some of them frozen. When you look at it in the supermarket, you wouldn't buy it because it's over frozen and you don't even know what it is anyhow, right? Why are we continuing to have these foreign franchises that are using about foreign exchange being paid? They have to pay their royalties back in US dollars, right? They have to pay it back, and they're paying low-end salaries. Why is the government, why is the ease of business not easing up? Why is it continuing? Is this country being run by a small group of people who decide what is going to happen in this country? Look at your Procurement Act. Huh? They only passed it in a few weeks ago, and they don't have a regulator. You had Mr. Lalman. Leave him for a year now. Leave him for a year so that somebody could understudy everything. Why don't you pass the legislation dealing with contributions to campaign financing? Why you should do that? Because I never see a building go up on using what they say
raffle tickets.
I have never seen anything go up on raffle tickets like that. I mean, that is amazing. I think the Prime Minister is not in the right job. I'm serious, because I have never seen a building go up on raffle tickets like that. And if you believe that, you believe that pigs can fly, right? So just understand that the country's position is terrible. This government, oil and gas, the Prime Minister have to admit it. What about this dragon field? You think you're not hearing anything about dragon field anymore?
Well, he did. Remember, I did show you the one article
what?
on it. He did. It seems as though they're still trying to do negotiations.
Of course, they have to still try.
You know,
because you know what Maduro is saying. I read it today. Maduro is saying, first of all, you think Maduro? Come on, his country's being starved of money. They want money, right? The U.S. said yes, we could deal with them. But it is on they put a qualification of 2 years, and then you can't pay them in money, you must pay them in kind. They're getting their money from the UAE, from countries like Australia and China and India. What are you worrying about with Trinidad? You see a picture with Maduro and our Prime Minister. You see a picture with Stuart Young and our Prime Minister. You see they talking. You hear what they're talking? They're saying they're having difficulties. You didn't hear what they're saying? They're saying, telling you they're having problems. Translate that.
When the minister, the energy minister,
with the 4 trains,
right? No. So Venezuela's minister, remember? He got kicked out with corruption and so forth. I did wonder how would that affect the deal, and it seems it has derailed the deal.
It's not only that, you can't just look at that, because I was actually reading that I thought they're saying there are 460 new oil companies, oil refineries coming on, because what countries recognize, it makes far more sense for them to refine the product rather than sell it as a crude oil.
Right.
And they're about 460, that's what I read I read it from Newsweek with American production. And they say, so listen, they're also saying this idea that coal production, you know what the highest users of coal? In the United States? Yes. Australia, you're looking it up now. Australia and India, they're the highest users of coal. So this whole idea of renewable energy and wind energy, and look at the solar plant, look at the solar thing. You remember this was started since 2018. I'm not going to persecute that more, but you know that it couldn't start it till now. And because of that, it costs more for that solar energy than natural gas. And they said, the NGC has said, to start up a proper non-renewable source, I don't want to misrepresent the figure, something like $43 billion it will cost. And he says this is why the large countries should help, because we didn't cause the carbon emission problem, and we are the victims. You understand? You making sense from nonsense?
I mean, right now,
are you making sense from nonsense?
China's coal usage apparently is going up to the point where their imports, because they have coal mines as well, they had to increase their imports. So
what about Australia? What about America?
Yeah, all of that to Germany. Germany, who wanted to lead the way with renewables.
With the wind that stopped blowing.
I think the sad part is we really...
What's the sad part?
Where
there's so much
I don't have,
sad.
Despite how things are looking now, I have very little confidence that when our oil and gas revenue dry up further, because they will, right?
They have the Manatee project
It's
coming
small
on.
now. It will get smaller. One way or another, it will get smaller, right? At some point. What will our nation do? I might be dead when it completely runs dry, but what will happen?
Will you have grandchildren?
Maybe, maybe not. I have nephews, so at the very least.
No. I asked him if he will have grandchildren. Everybody heard me ask him that.
Well, I need kids first, Karen.
There we go.
Right? Okay, thank you.
There we go.
Stop trying to lawyer me, right? But my point is, what will the nation look like then? And I think...
What do it look like then? You don't see what it should look like now? You think when you see countries collapse?
And I'm saying that, that it's only going to get worse at the rate that we're going. It's only going to get worse. And you know, somebody has to worry about the future down the line, because our politicians tend to only be concerned about the next election.
I've never seen anything like that. Look at the local government elections. It's good. The Privy Council put them in their place with that. They tell them, this is not about constitution, because it's right. The constitution doesn't talk about local election. This is about a democracy, a democratic republic. It is not for the parliament, far less the government, to change the date on which your local government election is held. You hear what the Public Council said? And then you have an Attorney General who I like personally, but oh my God, you're really not doing anything good for your reputation when you come out of there, you know. So talking them numbers, playing a numbers game. What is that about?
I would say that a lot of that was not about the issue at hand. A lot of that was about fighting to ensure that they would win whatever next election comes up.
But
the local, the general. And it goes back to what I said before Karen came, folks. If all they care about is winning elections, they ain't going to improve the country. But they ain't going to make improvements to anything, Karen.
Let me tell you something. You see that local government election, I heard the average numbers that come out is 30%. And we know that the last local government election, Kamala had a lot of infighting. She did not have money. The PNM had money card done, I don't know, from selling... What is it?
Raffle tickets?
Raffle tickets, however, they got plenty money. Yeah? And some of the advertisements were really funny. I have to say, I played them over and over again, because you have to have a sense of humor in this country. But with all of that, she got another seat in the electoral district of Sandy Grande. With all of that, she won seats in critical areas like San Fernando Corporation. With all of that, and they are running scared, because they know that local government election is going to be a dress rehearsal for what is going to happen in national election. All of those people who sitting on the fence, you know, the PIPs, there are plenty PIPs in this country.
I have to stop you there, because they will lynch us. We have to go.
They lynch us?
Yes, we have to break for news on
you don't lynch me?
No,
They might lynch me, not you.
I talk about the director.
Oh, they lynch me, not you.